until we meet again. Some places hold memories like pages pressed between old books, and for Henry Collins, that place was the weathered bench by Lake Meriden 1, where every sunrise was a conversation, and every ripple was an echo of what used to be. Henry was 74 the year the doctors told him his heart had slowed a little. They said it gently, as though softness could dull the truth. But Henry wasn't sick and afraid of slowing down. He was afraid of stopping one of the silence that might come after a lifetime of noise, laughter, and the sound of her voice. Eleanor, his wife of 50 years. Each morning, Henry would shuffle his way down the old path, his cane tapping the rhythm of a story only he could hear. He'd sit on the bench by the lake, the one with initials carved into the wood, H+E, 1969, and he'd talk to her. "Morning, Ellie. The ducks are back, and I think the lilacs bloomed early this year." "You'd like that," Henry said softly. Neighbors saw him sometimes and smiled politely. But no one really knew, not the way he did, that love, once real, doesn't fade. It lingers. It waits. One chilly April morning, as fog draped the lake like a soft curtain, Henry noticed someone new. A young woman, maybe 30, setting up a camera on a tripod. She kept glancing at him between shots, unsure whether to interrupt the old man lost in his own world. "Excuse me, would you mind if I filmed you sitting here? You look like a story I want to tell," the woman asked gently. Her name was Clara. Henry chuckled and replied, "Depends. Is it a happy one?" Clara smiled and said, "That depends on you." Her name was Clara, a documentary filmmaker chasing ordinary lives that carried extraordinary meaning. Day after day, she returned to the lake, and little by little, Henry began to talk. Not to the wind this time, but to her. About how he met Eleanor at a church picnic, how they danced barefoot in the rain on their first anniversary, how they adopted a stray dog and named him Baxter after the man who introduced them. He spoke of love not as a fairy tale, but as something daily, like coffee, sunsets, forgiveness. Clara recorded every word, every pause between them, and every glimmer in Henry's eyes when he mentioned his wife's name. One afternoon, Clara brought him a gift, 14, a small wooden box, hand-painted with blue forget-me-nots. She said, "I made something for your story." Inside were 50 folded envelopes, 14 one for every year Henry and Eleanor had been married, each labeled with a date, a memory, a milestone. Henry blinked back tears. He hadn't expected anyone to understand how much it meant to remember. Henry said that Ellie used to write letters she never mailed, to the future, to him, to herself. Clara suggested that maybe it was time he wrote her one more. So that night, under the dim light of a bedside lamp, Henry wrote, not with sorrow 14, but with gratitude. In a voiceover, Henry read, "My dearest Eleanor, the world's changed so much since you left, but somehow, sitting by the lake still feels the same. People rush more now, they forget to listen to the wind. But I remember 14 because you taught me how. Thank you for every sunrise we shared, and every silence that meant more than words. If love is a bridge, if keep walking until I see you on the other side." Months passed. The lake thawed. Spring turned to summer. One morning, Clara visited the bench, but Henry wasn't there. Only his cane leaned against the wood beside a single folded letter addressed to the girl with the camera. Inside, Clara found his handwriting. "Don't be sad, my dear. My story isn't ending. It's simply turning the page. You gave an old man a chance to be remembered, and that means I'll never really leave. Promise me something. Find your own lake, your own love, and your own reason to keep talking when no one's listening," Henry wrote in a voiceover style. Tears blurred her eyes, but she smiled through them. A month later, Clara released her short film online. She called it The Bench by the Lake. It wasn't about death, it was about living through love that outlasts time. The film went viral, not because it was perfect, but because it was true. Years later, Clara returned to the same bench, 6 this time, with her husband and a baby wrapped in a blue blanket. She looked out at the lake where mist danced on the water. The bench had been restored, a small plaque shining in the morning light. "Thank you, Henry, for reminding me how to love fully," Clara whispered. And as the wind rustled the trees, for just a moment, she swore she heard his voice, soft and steady. "Morning, Ellie. Looks like the lilacs bloomed early again," Henry said, his voice soft and steady, as if from a memory. Love is not bound by time or space. It lives in the places we return to, in the people we touch, and in the stories that carry us forward. Sometimes the heart remembers what the world forgets, and in that remembering, love stays alive. If you enjoyed this story, share it with someone you love or someone who needs a reminder that love never really leaves us. Sometimes all it takes is a bench by the lake to remember what matters most.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below.